Oh yeah, get me in that San Fran. Get me in that poorly planned street plan that doesn't give a shit about local geography at all. Or geology or topography or really anything. It's just a fucking grid, no matter what. You're gonna be driving 45-degree angle down a hill directly into a stop sign? Cool, sounds fun. And it's also one way, and right, left turn only, and then there's a streetcar going across it. Cool, I hate the city. I hate being, it's pretty. I don't know, it's actually, no, there's not a lot of upsides. I don't know, there's some good food places here and there, and a few sites, but not that much. Really just kind of end up having to come here because there's like you get tickets to a show in San Francisco or some shit, but it's like, whole place smells like shit, it's covered in homeless people, every street is bad and at a fucked up angle and doesn't have enough through line because it's too old of a street and it's too old of a city and also poorly planned, so it's like a perfect grid across fucked up hills and weird shapes, and it's just all a nightmare, and there's I feel like I'm gonna die every time I'm in a car in this town. Huge crowds gather on the street corners as they wait for never-ending streams of automobiles and cable cars to rumble past. You can see the Golden Gate Bridge taking form against the horizon.
Your knees make a nasty cracking sound with every step. Wandering this infernal city of steep hills takes its toll. Just over the crest of one hill, you find a stopped truck. Yang Chow, fresh fruit and vegetables. It's laden with colorful produce.
Approach.
You know anything about engine?
Asks a man, obscured by the raised triangular hood of the truck.
A little bit.
You come around next to him. One glance tells you that there's nothing obviously wrong with the engine. But there's smoke coming from somewhere deep behind and beneath it. The gearbox, maybe.
Sorry, it's beyond me.
Ah, never mind. He just slams down the hood of the truck, wisps of smoke leaking out of it. He sits on the edge of the truck bed, and you get a good look at him. He's tall, well-built. Fans himself with his Panama hat.
Sent my brother over to get a real mechanic, but...
Nod.
Well, I can barely keep this running as it is. Wish I still had a farm.
He sighs theatrically, surprising himself with his own easy honesty.
Sam Liang, landless, broke truck driver. Dad would have been proud.
What happened to your father?
My old man was, well, he was old. Guys like him didn't get a lot of chances to start a family.
He glances around the upwards parabola of the hill, at the placid row houses around you.
I was just a kid when it happened. The '06 quake. I can still remember. Barely.
The '06 quake. Earthquakes were a bad time in San Francisco. One of them leaded to the whole place burning down, more or less. Look for work. You're waiting for the light to change outside a corner store when the cashier sticks his head out of the window and shouts, "Hey, got some time? Want a little cash?" Sure. He needs help moving cases of compressed pop fizz. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. It's the same one again about the guy that sells soda. It's like, have you checked the label on this shit? It'll drop you dead in a week. Am I right? Like, yep. Alright. Boop, boop, boop. 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 She's just like right around the corner. We'll make sure we do a little detour when we get to the edge of Nevada. Right there at the corner is Lake Tahoe. Pretty much exactly at the point. I don't remember if it's directly on that corner or if it's slightly above or below it. I feel like it might. I feel like that the state line between California and Nevada might turn midway through Lake Tahoe. But I could be wrong. Now we're getting to NorCal.
The creature looms in an evergreen clearing, blood spattered around its maw, one enormous paw still buried in the flesh of the man sprawled beneath it. The grizzly spots you. Even at this distance, you can see its yellowed fangs. Slowly, deliberately, it begins to advance on you.
Play dead?
You drop to your knees, curling into a ball. The only noises you can hear are your breathing and the bear's warning grunts. The bear's rancid breath is hot on your neck as it sniffs you. After what feels like an eternity, it wanders away.
Get up.
The bear is gone. The dead man's stomach is a mess of mangled meat below his starched white collar. A gray felt fedora lies on a nearby boulder. What was a man like this doing in the woods? The sound of a branch snapping startles you from reverie. Best not to linger.
Best not to linger. The bear that preys on travelers. Pretty standard shit. It's just a bear in the woods. The California grizzly, maybe. Maybe that'll be the basis of the legend or something. So we got a grizzly bear right there on the flag. I don't think we have that bear anymore, though.
A weathered man unties a fishing boat from its mooring.
You heading out to fish? Can rent you a boat if you like. The lake's well stocked, but...
He isn't smiling anymore.
That picture kind of looks like Yosemite National Park, but I think we're too far north for that. What's the matter?
There's a monster in the lake. Locals say it's the biggest trout ever to live. But they're wrong. It's not a fish. It's something else. And I'm gonna be the one to catch it.
Let's take a boat out.
The water is clear and glassy as you paddle along the lake. The fisherman's out in the middle of the lake. A throng is gathered on the dock. The breeze carries snatches of their conversation towards you. Punctuation against the rhythmic slosh of ripples against the wood.
Fish?
You reel in several fish quite quickly. Fat, glistening trout flop around in the bottom of your boat. A sharp tug on the line threatens to topple your boat, but whatever's nibbling lets go almost immediately. Suddenly, you hear a splash and a burst of laughter from the dock.
The man obsessed with fish. So I almost got thrown over. Where? Not the most noteworthy location. Further over here would be South Lake Tahoe. Or just Lake Tahoe. I'm just used to saying South Lake Tahoe because that's an area that comes up a lot. Reno. Yep, Reno and Nevada have basically the entire population of Nevada in them. Did I say Reno and Nevada? Reno and Las Vegas. We've been to all two landmarks, basically. That's gotta be Lake Tahoe right there, right? Where's the curve? The curve's somewhere in the mountains where we can't reach. But that's definitely Lake Tahoe right there. A tiny motor mouth, blah 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 blah. It's telling about the cannibal corn cult of Nebraska. It's the story of the corn farmers who started worshipping a pagan god. Yeah, that's why it's defined as being so scary. They're cannibals.
You come to a car parked at the side of the road. Across the road, some children loiter. As you approach the car, their gazes make their way to you.
Hey!
One girl shouts. She waves at you, then points at the car.
Don't open the door!
Why not?
Before you can question the girl, the car's suspension groans and a shape stirs inside. A huge black dog panting on the hot seat, lips pulled back on rows of sharky teeth. he says, nose pressed against the glass.
Hey, you! Let me out of here!
Why does every animal talk in this game? Cujo. No?
You shake your head. The dog tracks you with a double-barreled stare that grows hotter and hotter, and angrier with each step you take away. His lips are trembling.
Hey! Fuck you!
He blurts.
Fuck you!
The kids across the street howl with laughter.
Oh, they're just tormenting a dog? Oh. Thought it might have been an evil dog. Even though there shouldn't be any evil dogs because they're all good boys.
An older, portly man stands on the street corner, fixing a look of refined disdain on everyone who walks past. As he catches sight of you, he alights on you with a kind of thrill.
You!
He calls, pointing.
Hey, it's another one of the guys that you level up your stories with. They're all in California, it seems. See what he wants.
He sidles closer to you. You aren't from around here, huh? You, want to make some cash?
Doing what?
Holes need to get dug. Fence posts, you know, on my estate. My maintenance man is sick. It's just a quick drive.
Okay.
Great. Good. This way.
He takes you down an alley where a car is parked. A little shabbier than you expected. Up close, he's a lot shabbier too. He draws a pistol from inside his jacket.
Give me everything you got.
He snaps.
Nah.
You think this is a fucking joke?
He hisses, smacking you with the butt of his gun. As you fall, you hear the car's engine start. It peels off as you get back to your feet. You watch him just barely avoid clipping a dumpster as he speeds out of view.
I didn't even describe him as attacking me. I mean, as stealing from me. He just hit me and ran away. Very ineffective strategy overall. Whoa.
Anyone ask you to join the communists? A few folks out here have been telling me I should, but I'm not much for joining things. Still, we've gotten to a time where you can't just tell poor folks to move along. There's nowhere to move along to. Been so long since I last chuckled, I'm not sure my mouth can do it anymore. Can you tell me a story that'll make me laugh?
He's like a dust elemental, a vengeful one. A funny story. Always got my tree.
Oh, my sides hurt. Joy. The hope of punishing those that made things so hard, that's what makes me smile now. When I hear there's a law coming, or a union forming, or a strike forming up, thinking it might happen is better than anything. Anyway, know any good hopeful stories to share? I could sure use one.
Where's the brothers? Where'd I keep them? There they are.
That's a good one. I'll try to remember it when I'm out in the fields. My family. Well, maybe the girls will grow up to wonder where I am, if they live long enough. But they won't find me. I'm out of family. There's no one here to save me scraps but me. I've had a hard day. Do you know any hopeful stories to cheer me up?
Hopeful. What do we got left? The eclipse. Lovers on an eclipse.
Thank you for sharing that one. I feel a little better now. Love? No. Peace and quiet, that's what I look forward to. That stillness. when there's no one telling me to do anything. We should watch tragedy close. Remember it, learn it, never turn away from it. Tell me a sad story, will you?
Authority of the past, the future. Home. That seems like a relevant thing to ask her.
Oh, come on. That didn't really happen. Country. Every part of this country is the same in the way that counts. Oklahoma and California couldn't look more different. Plenty grows in California. There's more oranges and peaches than I ever thought could be in one place. But when you leave the bad soil and the bad weather, one thing's the same from Oklahoma to Bakersfield, and that's the owners. Anyway, know any good hopeful stories to share? I could sure use one.
Sadness, endings, fortune, faith, desires fulfilled, traps, freedom, choice, travel. Desires fulfilled.
That's a good one. I'll try to remember it when I'm out in the fields. Wishes come true. Well, at some point you stop wanting things to be different just for you. Things need to be different for everyone. Enough food to pick, good pay for picking it, hot bath water and no mortgages. And there's enough of us that have nothing left but the will to live. A change will come. I don't know if it'll be communists or unions or someone getting religion in a tent. But you can't stamp out the will to live completely. Thanks for talking with me. Not too many have time to listen these days.
See ya, Bertha. Telling the story about Floyd, the nervous serial killer. Clearly, it's Floyd, the amateur coroner. He became a nervous serial killer, like a klutz. Thinking about her dust elemental appearance. She seems to represent the fury of the lower class. She's just angry, and she's nothing but dust. That's all she has left. But she also has a hoe, or a rake in that case.
He's seen better days.
All right. Just gonna take a screenshot of that one. What happened?
Hard times all over, the bull says archly, with what seems to you an aristocratic air. Its blood still fresh, pools around your feet.
Touch the blood?
You dip a finger in. Yes, yes, go on, sighs the bull. Why not? It soaks through your skin as if you were made of tissue. And it strikes you all of a sudden. You've never felt this good in your life. Sensing your astonishment, the bull just rolls its eyes.
Praise be to Mother Bodo. It'd be really unfortunate if somebody came by and burned it the next day. I really like the aesthetic of it, like rolling its eyes at me, frustrated, like, of course, yes. Yes, enjoy my blood, don't you? Plebeians.
This club is quiet and cool and open 24 hours. So you slip into a booth near the back where it's too dark for people to see you haven't bought a drink. Up on stage, a slight little man approaches the microphone.
I hope he's a good singer.
He utters a long, sustained series of low, loud notes. Dissonant, like a song stretched out and slowed down. Your heart races. The crowd murmurs and bristles. The walls seem to shift uncomfortably too.
Sing something happy!
Someone shouts.
Let's see where this goes.
Half the room bails, but you grip the edge of the table and lock eyes on the singer. His next song is even slower and deeper. Your eardrums ache and your eyes water. A waiter struggles unsteadily across the room. Someone in the back shouts,
Stop it!
Stay seated.
The singer continues, and you lose track of yourself between the notes. When he finishes his set, you startle awake and realize that your face is damp with tears. The room is empty. The singer's looking at you, smiling, arm extended, an invitation for a solo.
Sing.
He sits in the front row. You sing. Well, something. You haven't heard it before, but you know the words. And as you sing, a radiant satisfaction grows and grows at the center of your chest. Your eyes tear up, and you hit a triumphant final note.
It's love, a song about love.
But suddenly, the singer is gone. Your ears are ringing, and there's a waiter shouting for you to leave. Out on the sidewalk, everyone's losing their lunch, but you feel strangely warm. Love. A song about love. Too bad you can't remember the words.
The unnerving singer. Where am I facing? I can't see because of the trees. There's west. Oh yeah, that's the tall tower I saw earlier. This is not the greatest song in the world. No, no. This is only a tribute. Couldn't remember the greatest song in the world. No, no. Going up to Oregon, which you think I would have gone to at some point, but I haven't.
This dapper little peddler shifts restlessly from foot to foot beside his cart, wringing his hands and glancing around as if he's in some kind of mild agony.
Hey,
He calls, holding up a quarter.
I gotta piss. Will you watch my stuff for a minute?
Sure.
He flips you a quarter and hurries off down the road. 5 minutes later, he still hasn't returned, but a whole crowd is marching toward you from the other direction. They start shoving and screaming at you.
What's the matter?
The man grabs you by the arm. You working with them? He shows you 6 tiny, bloody teeth in the palm of his hand. My daughter's dying.
I had nothing to do with it.
No matter how you protest, they refuse to believe you weren't involved in the scam. 2 drag you off to the side of the road and begin to work you over with a bunch of rocks in the end of a sock.
Stop! Stop!
But someone puts a flame to the peddler's cart. It suddenly explodes in a shower of foul-smelling cures. Your assailants bolt, leaving you face down in the mud, burning scraps of who knows what raining down all around you. Fuck. But at least your teeth are still in.
What are my meters at? Because I feel like some bad stuff happened. Yep, I'm half money and half heart. Dang. I'm a... Apologies if my efforts seem a little half-hearted going forward. Go over the mountains. There we go. Wow. That's brutal. A sock full of rocks. All because somebody asked me to watch their cart for a second. No good deed goes unpunished. Thankfully, I've got at least one person who originated in California, so if I die, I can get back here pretty quickly.
This church's doors stand open. You wander in to ask for a glass of water. There's no preacher, only a disheveled music teacher and a class of young men picking out bawdy songs on the organ.
Ask for water.
The group can't hear you over an improvised erotic limerick shouted over an equally indelicate tune.
Wait and listen.
The verses escalate in depravity until the music finally swells and comes to the grand finale.
Clap?
Smiling, the teacher invites you to a seat in the pews. A boy returns with water and cookies, and as you eat, the group sings a song about genitalia in perfect three-part harmony. Wonderful! The teacher cries. Again!
Well, that sounds like fun. Those are fun people. And he sounded like that guy that goes, inconceivable. So like, that's a thing too. Stop, 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 stop. Sir. How could you? How could you leave me like this? My God. I think we're down to 2 people. Oh, both up in Washington for some reason. I want to go to Washington. Both Bird and Brian actually live in Washington. Whereas here in California, we've got Andrew and Batbeard and Marty. Then Durf and Effie are in Canada somewhere. I know it's a bit of a generalization, it's a really big country. And then Colonel RPG is in Portugal. And Stephanie's next door. Ta-da! Ah, it's all the way over there. Ah, what a pain. I think I'll go to this one first. I can see the line. Ah, you see Yep, the first fires on the horizon. One of them's up by Seattle. One of them's around the border. None of these cars give a shit about me. Is this like a remix? This is like a... I think this is a cover of the song from the East Coast that the lady sings, but with different instruments and no vocals. I guess that makes it the theme.
Suddenly become conscious of something heavy in the air. The light of the cigarette breaks the darkness. In its glow, you see the face. Something inside you wishes you hadn't. ¿Quieres esto? He rasps. Then, cigarette. You pluck the cigarette from his fingers, and suddenly, his whole body starts to dissolve. You watch him disintegrate until all that remains of him is on the floor. A disquieting pile of, well, what would you call it? Bone meal?
Eat the bone meal as an option? I mean, I've got to click on that because of how strange. Why would that even be a thing that occurs to you?
The bone meal carcass of the cigarette-smoking stranger isn't nice to eat. After a couple mouthfuls, you move onwards, feeling interestingly better than before.
Am I healthy now? Wait, where's the... Oh, there it is. Yeah, that healed me. Eating the bone meal healed me for some reason. Why not? Of course it would. Is that Seattle? No. Apparently the border to Oregon is a lake. I mean a river. The border between Washington and Oregon. This is quite a music change when you get to this area.
You come across the two musicians on the corner, playing no louder than a murmur. The blind one to the left doesn't sing so much as moan. If we are willing, he will teach us to love our brothers, to dance and sing. It continues. We dream of his seat in heaven. Around our heads his flowers ring. O Prince in heaven we sing for rapture. We all must perish, our flowers and our names. But the flowers in our Prince's kingdom, they shall not perish, they shall remain. There is a joy there, and there is friendship. For our passage we shall sing. We dream of his seat in heaven. Around our heads his flowers ring. They stop and look at you expectantly, nodding at their empty hat.
Tip them.
You throw them a coin. Obliged, they both say, and sing the song all over again.
I couldn't ever get a feel for what the rhythm was supposed to sound like and what the song was supposed to sound like or what its cadence was. I couldn't tell if that was the singer or the fact that in the background they're playing a completely unrelated song because the normal music doesn't go away, and so it doesn't match at all and it starts to drive you crazy. Look at that big old train.
Oh no, he's not coming over to you, is he? Hello there, the preacher says through a glued shut smile that's too wide and too smug. Have you heard the good news?
No.
You're lying, he hisses. Lying! You do know! He seizes your face in his gnarled hands. What is it? What is it? His knotted fingers tear open your mouth and have just begun reaching inside when some good Samaritans drag him away and off to the drunk tank.
I tried to physically rip the truth out of my body. Alarming. Thank you, good Samaritans. Apparently. Portland, Oregon.
You, she snaps. Level with me now. Would you walk 10 miles every day with heavy bags under your arms and a silly box on your head for some bent, double-crossing, hopped up, out-of-shape man?
No.
That's what I said too, at first. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you.
She's laughing at herself and her life choices, evidently.
In the morning, migrants line the street in an obedient queue, heads down, stomachs grumbling. Every couple minutes, the line lurches forward like the yank of a chain. They're waiting to get into a warehouse. You can't tell why or what's inside.
Get in line?
Time passes. Time passes. Time passes. Time passes. Finally, you're ushered inside. A calf's been dumped on the dirt floor, its exposed flank picked apart to the bone. There's a slit running down its stomach, spilling sand instead of blood. A butcher in a muddy smock stands over the cow with a knife, gesturing at you to choose a cut.
Take some meat?
You eat for the day. You've had better.
What the fuck? The dust-killed cow. Oh, it's spewing dust because it's the... Yeah, that really fucked up element of the Dust Bowl where the cattle will just inhale and ingest so much dust just from the storms and dust that's everywhere that it would just fill them up and kill them because that's just not how you survive. And they couldn't really do anything about it. That's the nightmarish concept. But I guess the rest of them's still a living cow that you can work with. I was telling you about the devoted guitar player who worshipped a pagan god. Wow, not a pagan god, that's crazy. How could anyone worship pagan gods, I say, again?
This abandoned rail yard is full of broken old boxcars, so of course people are taking shelter here. The looks they're giving you are a little less than friendly. You search around for an empty space to rest. There's a heap of rags and sticks in the back of this boxcar. You start digging around, looking for tinder, and the heap starts moving. Hands off, a voice yelps. A long, knotty arm with nails like rusty screws darts out and shoves you away.
What the hell?
You see big yellow eyes and a flash of snaggle teeth.
This is my home.
The creature informs you.
Are you moving in? Well, you can't. I have the deed for the car. I do the chores around here. I have a lawyer. I'm respected in the community.
The deed?
The creature's muddy fist emerges with an official document. The actual deed for the property. There's even a clause describing the boxcar itself, rust and all. The creature's signature is a bloody smear.
Wow, impressive.
The creature's arm is long enough to shove you all the way out of the door and deposit you outside.
You don't come into a man's home and set his bed on fire,
he shouts and slams the door shut.
Okay. You go, guy. You have a good time. I'm not sure what that had to do with the weird picture of the tree arm stealing a hat, but okay.